Welcome to Adeptus On-Air, the show where we examine how individuals and companies make decisions that drive their business and personal success. Each week, we connect with notable professionals who pull back the curtain on the industries that Adeptus has been on the cutting edge of for the last 30 years, including music, sports, and entertainment, as well as new emerging markets.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adeptus On-Air. I'm your host this week, Mike Hoffman, and today I am joined by Sammy Wilson. Sammy, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I'm very well. Well, it's afternoon for me, but yeah, I'm
I
very
was
well,
gonna say,
thank you.
as soon as I said that, I'm like, I should have said good day. Damn it.
Good
But
day.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll, we'll we'll get it right. As you're my second podcast in the last 2 weeks where I've talked to someone over the Atlantic Ocean. So it's great to talk to people kind of all over
Wow.
the world. It kind of makes this makes the big world a little bit smaller. So Sammy's got a very interesting background and now is kind of turned some of those skill sets into a new business, which I want to talk about. But you spent time as an athlete for Great Britain, and you represented them on something that, quite honestly, I had not heard of, and that was the artistic swim team. Did I get that right?
You did, yeah. Well, when I did it, it was actually called synchronized swimming. They've since changed the
That's what I've
name.
heard of.
Um,
That was my first question. Okay, how
yeah,
did
it's
you get into
They
that?
did that. Um, I did it from basically a young age. I did kind of swimming and gymnastics, which I think it's quite common kids' sports to do.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think it's just because there was a local club, and I thought it'd be quite fun to combine the two. And yeah, it just kind of went on from there. It was something I loved. But yeah, it's something a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. When did they change the name to artistic swimming? Because like I said, growing up watching the Olympics, I watched synchronized swimming just like I'd watch any other water event. When did that name change?
I actually can't remember. It was after I finished, so between 2013 and now. I don't know
Okay.
the exact year.
And where did you represent your country? At what level?
So I was like international. So I got to the stage. I got to compete at World Champs, which was really fun. I went to one in Barcelona. So yeah, I got to travel quite a lot with that. It was awesome at the end. Yeah,
So when you're competing, before we get obviously to the main focus of what we're going to talk about today,
yeah.
when you're competing at that level, which is obviously as high a level as you can get, what is the commitment in terms of daily practicing and keeping your body in the necessary shape? Like, are you able to have any other thing in your life, meaning a job or anything like that, or has this become your full-time job?
Absolutely not. No other life. That's the
Yeah.
whole life. So the train it obviously does depend on what sport you do, but for synchronized swimming, we trained anywhere between like 45 to 50 hours a week. So it
Wow.
was a lot. That's more than most people's full-time job, isn't it? So that was like swimming, land training, mixture of everything. But yeah, it was really intense on the body as well. Obviously, it's like a low impact sport, so you're not having that like impact on your joints, but your muscles are working so hard. We'd have like 6 hour pool sessions where for the whole session you were having to pretty much like tread water. You're not really allowed to come into the side. So it was really intense. Yeah, a lot of training. And
Now,
yeah, not much time for other things.
now where does that choreography kind of come about? Because obviously, you notice that what's amazing about it is the fact that you could do whatever you're doing in the water by itself is amazing. Now add to the fact you're doing it in time with one person, two people, depending on how many people you're with, and even being off a half a second to the naked eye like myself, who has no idea what they're watching, you could identify a mistake like that. So where is all that work kind of going? Obviously, it's not a pool training, but are you guys working on those movements outside the pool to get the timing, right in sync?
Yeah, yeah, fair
But
enough. Yeah, a lot of
you guys have to be
people.
perfect. So how do you get
Yeah.
it to be so perfect? I know the answer is practice, 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 but
hmm
how do you get it to be so, so, so spot on?
Um, that is the answer. Practice, practice, practice. The
Yeah.
amount of hours we were doing every week for just practicing getting it in time. I mean, a lot of people don't know that we do have a speaker underwater, so you can hear the music to help you stay in time with it. That does really help. And just training for that many hours together as a team, you sort of learn, especially in a duet, you kind of just learn how each other move and how you react a little bit better. In a team, it's a little bit more hard because there's eight of you you've got to account for, so seven other people. Um, and it literally is just as you say, just practicing day in day out. Just make sure everyone knows the exact right counts to do it on, and then if everyone does it right, then it would be together, right? But you're right,
And
to the
then,
untrained eye, even if we make
Yeah.
a little mistake, you don't often see it.
And then even when you're in the actual competitions, there's water under the music as well. It's not just for practice.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, they've always got when you go to like little local
That's
competitions,
yeah.
there's always music issues, but the big competitions, yeah, it's really good.
Oh, that's amazing. So you learned something right off the bat there. So when that aspect of your life was ending, and you weren't going to do that anymore, obviously, before I tell everyone what you transitioned into, what was your general thought process on how you kind of wanted to take your life to the next chapter? Like, how long did you start thinking, okay, this isn't going to last forever? What's next?
Yeah, so I guess sort of thought and feeling wise, when I retired, so I retired at the age of 19, which I know is very early to
Yeah, yeah,
call
yeah.
yourself a retired person.
Exactly.
But I guess I actually felt a bit lost, and I think that's quite
Mm-hmm.
normal in like elite athletes that retire because that's been your whole life for as long
Mm-hmm.
as you remember. And it's like, well, what do I do now? Like, how do I find something that's as meaningful to me as competing at that level in a sport? Um, so yeah, for a while I was completely unsure. I did probably the thing a lot of people do when they're unsure was go to university, get qualifications, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, a lot of it was just wondering what to do and wondering um, what's best for me to take the next step into. Um,
Right. So when you say, because obviously a lot of people listening to this are in the U.S., when you say go to university, get qualifications, that means basically what we would say go to college and earn a degree.
oh, is that the same? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
college, yeah,
So you have a certification from a school that you've graduated with the necessary courses in whatever field.
yeah, sure, same thing.
Fair enough. Okay, so now you get out of school. And how
Uh-huh.
long ago did you complete school? How long ago was that?
Um, oh, probably coming on to like 8 years ago.
Okay, so you
So
get out of
yeah, it's been a
school, and then,
while.
then what did you do right? What did you do right after school?
So I was still very completely unsure. So my degree was in like sports science, which I think is quite natural,
Hmm.
having retired from sports to then go into a sports degree. But I was really struggling to know like what to do with it. Like that, there's limited jobs in kind of elite sport, that kind of thing. So I actually just went into like a series of just customer service based desk job kind of things.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons for that is that I was still really interested in competing in sports, so I took up other sports like swimming and stuff. So I needed my like evenings free basically
Yeah.
to do that. So I just took up a day job that I wasn't, but particularly interested in, but just to keep the income coming in while I basically decided what I wanted to do.
Hmm. I mean, that's smart. So now you do those day jobs for a while, and then how did you get into? And for those of you, I'll get to it now. Right now, you are what's called a movement and mobility coach. I guess if,
Oh
if,
yeah,
if we got to identify
reveal
yourself.
the secret.
Yeah, I will reveal the secret. So, how do you go from day jobs that don't really, that you don't really love, but you're doing it as you said, you got to support yourself. How did you evolve into obviously what is a passion of yours?
So basically, the way I had the idea, it actually came about from myself struggling with what I help people with now. So, from having like the series of desk jobs, I basically developed like really bad lower back pain that just wouldn't go away.
Hmm.
And I started off, as most people would, seeing physios, asking for advice, that kind of thing. And they were all telling me that it was because my muscles were like weak in some places, tight in other places, and from sitting down all day. The thing that was a bit embarrassing here is I didn't actually believe them at first because I was
Yeah.
like, come on, like I'm an elite athlete, like my muscles are plenty strong. I've done synchronized swimming, I'm really flexible, like it's not that. So I actually
Hmm.
saw a few different physios before I started um, believing them. And the problem was that they didn't actually mention this, but the problem was that even though I was really fit, really flexible, strong, and was doing still exercise, I was still spending like 8, 9 hours a day just sat on my backside at a desk.
Yeah.
And that was enough to make my back, weak in some areas, tight in other areas, and really painful. So yeah, I just basically discovered myself that I needed to try different kinds of movement. So on top of I was doing like weightlifting, that kind of thing at the time, on top of that I had to do more like different kind of movements like pilates, yoga, even like Zumba, just different things, and that just
Hmm.
helped me so much. And one of the things I realized from when I worked in an office is that like 90% of the people there had the same issues as me, not necessarily lower back, but either their neck or their shoulders,
Hmm.
or everyone had something that they complained about, like ache and pain wise, every day, like, oh, it's still painful, that kind of thing. And I just thought I could, it just almost clicked, like, this is what I should be doing. I want to help other people in the same way
Yeah.
that I've kind of helped myself to, like, just be less in pain, because no one
Right.
likes
Right.
that really. Yeah.
So a light bulb went off. Wow, I got a problem. I have a
Hmm.
need. I see other people have a need. Let me
Exactly. Yeah.
kind of see if I could turn this into a career for myself. So what was the next step? Now you've identified this potential career path. Something that you've kind of been looking for a while because you were doing things you didn't like. So once you kind of had this epiphany that, wow, this is something I could do, I want to do,
Hmm.
how did you take it from that thought into a reality?
Um, it was kind of like, a lot of it was just sort of brainstorming, thinking about what I want to do, like how it kind of set up, that kind of thing, whether I want to do like one to one or like groups, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. And at first, it started off with working in a gym, so I got a job in like a big commercial gym as a personal trainer. I had like one to one clients that I was working with face to face, and I
Hmm.
really really enjoyed that. But then I sort of decided I wanted to take it further and more online, because that's where I can basically get more people, and I wanted to create my own sort of group club sort of thing, which is what I'm now setting up. So yeah, make it more of a community. So one of the things I've really enjoyed myself is CrossFit. I'm not sure if you've ever tried that, um, but one of the best things
Yeah,
about it is the
I know
community,
I know
because
what it
you're
is.
all
I've not done it,
together.
but
Yeah, yeah, it's the whole community
yeah.
aspect of it, and you all like support each other, that kind of thing. And I just thought that's why I want to develop it. Really, I want to set up that kind of thing online, where it's more of a, rather than just having one-to-one personal training and just telling you the exercises to do, make it more of like a inclusive, fun community.
Hmm.
And that's sort of just where my
Yeah.
ideas developed.
So if you're talking to someone, and I'm a perfect example of this,
Hmm.
I'm an accountant. I sit at my desk, an 8 hour day. I'm probably sitting down a good 6 hours of it when I'm working.
Oh dear.
Uh, we get our busier times a year. It could be a 12-hour day where I'm sitting down, 10 plus
Wow,
hours a day.
that's a lot. Okay.
So if I was a client of yours, or if I said, hey, work with me, I'm having back pains, and there are times I definitely do. I've had back pains all my life. I had
Hmm.
scoliosis as a kid, so I've had a lot of it. What would be the two or three things that you would tell someone who's in a desk job besides working with you that they could
Hmm.
do on their own to kind of just help them not feel so much discomfort?
Yeah. The number one first thing I'd recommend is something really, really easy, is just moving more throughout the day. So even if you're not going to do sort of an exercise routine or anything like that, because I get it, some people can't fit that in, or they
Yeah.
don't want to do that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But just moving more. So one thing I recommend is on your phone or whatever you've got, you can set like a, I'm trying to think the best way to do it. It's not an alarm, like a timer, I think,
Hmm.
to go off every like hour or every 2 hours or every half an hour, whatever you think you can manage. And every time that alarm goes off, you just get up and do something, whether it's doing like a few stretches or going for a walk around the block, or anything really. If you work in an office, go and make everyone a cup of tea.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
whatever. Or if you're really busy, you can even stay at your desk and do literally just some stretches and moving at your desk, but just do something every time that alarm goes off. Um,
Well, it's
that's
funny.
my
I have
number one
this
tip.
here in the U.S. I don't know if you have it there. So I have an Apple Watch,
Okay, yeah.
and what I keep on my right here, I'm gonna actually take it off so we can kind of see it. Is so I have the three things that are set. One is my calorie count for the day. One is my workout minutes, but the bottom one that's blue is stand hours. And what a stand hour is
Yeah.
by the
Okay.
watch is that means you're standing and moving for 1 minute within that clock hour. So that's saying
Oh, that's
between
great.
8 and 9 a.m., I have stood for a minute. So, me being a numbers guy, it's important to me that I hit my three goals every day. So, like today, for example, I've already have a 20-minute workout in before I started working. I need to get to 30 workout minutes a day. I need to burn a certain amount of calories. But for me, I need to get 12 stand hours every day, which means 12 hours that I'm awake, I must at least move. And move, don't get me wrong, could be just kind of walking back and forth from here to the door and back. But
Mhm.
I have to do that at least 12 hours in the day. So what that does is that stops me from sitting down for 4 hours.
That's really
And
good. I like
I
that.
walk and my watch buzzes, or it pops up a warning 10 minutes before the end of the hour that
Mhm.
says you have not stood this hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a last
where it
chance.
really gets crazy is on a 5-hour flight. I'm like an idiot. I make sure I have an aisle seat because I need to get up like every hour. I even just walk up and down to get that stand minute.
Yeah.
Because me personally, I've now done this. I'm now finishing year 4 of hitting all 3 of these goals every day, and I'm just determined not to end it now.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I threw out my back last summer, and I made sure every hour I was getting out of bed because I'm like, I'm not ruining these counts. So yeah, so movement's a very good thing, obviously. So obviously, getting up and kind of just stretching or something. What can
Yeah.
someone do
That,
when they're not getting up? So now I am sitting and I can't get up for whatever reason. Is there something I could be doing actually when I'm sitting to help me?
yeah. Of course, there's stuff you can do literally at your desk. Do you want me to talk you through a couple you can do now?
Sure, talk me through them. Let's do it.
Yeah. But we'll start with the neck. It's not really easy. You can literally just with your head, make sure you're sat up nice and straight, and just move your head. Just tilt it side to side. Just get a little stretch in your neck. That's just getting something going. Or you can do like shoulder
I,
rolls,
it's
or
actually
you can,
cracking.
is it? It's not a good sign.
I know. I agree. I'm like, oh god, I shouldn't even say that. Yeah, I felt the
Yeah,
crack on this side. That's funny.
yeah.
And
Or
shoulder rolls, you
you
said?
can do like, yeah, shoulder rolls. You can do twists if you grab sort of the side of your chair. Twist. You might get a few cracks if you do this one, the twist.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pulling my chair out. But yeah, you can
I
twist
hope that
around.
wasn't
You
a
can
crack
lean
in your
over
back. That
sideways, so
sounded
one
really bad.
head. No, that was the chair.
Yeah.
Did you hear
I'm like,
that?
oh my god, that's not good. Yeah. So you doing
I mean,
movements?
it's not
Yeah.
bad. Some people get scared if it cracks. It's not a bad thing as long as it doesn't hurt. It's just sort of the muscles in the air releasing from your joints. So it's not a bad thing
So
if
let
you
me ask you a
crack.
question about. I'm getting off topic, but this is interesting to me. So if I'm doing that and my neck's cracking, now that's nothing wrong with that. But I have read before that you don't want to automatically get yourself to crack. Like you'll have some people that want to crack their knuckles or will twist themselves to crack almost like a chiropractor would do. And I've
Yeah.
read that you don't want to be self cracking because you can do some damage to yourself.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. This is straying slightly out of my sort of area of expertise, but
Yeah, yeah,
from what I've learned, it's if it just sort of happens when you're stretching, that's fine. But yeah, you shouldn't be because a chiropractor obviously knows exactly where to crack you
yeah,
and where sort of is good. So yeah, you shouldn't be trying to do that on your own.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried
If it
telling
cracks
my
a little
daughter that because she knows I hate the sound so much, and she'll be like,
bit,
"Leave the room, leave the room. I need to crack my back," and she'll just turn herself and crack her back. I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to be doing that.
it
Yeah,
feels good, doesn't it? But
they say it feels good, and I will say this: I've had to go to chiropractors before when I've thrown out my back,
Mhm.
and I hate when they're doing it, but you definitely do feel that release of something, whether the pressure there,
Yeah,
once they, once they do whatever they do. Yeah,
yeah, they know
so it's
what they're
amazing.
doing,
All
don't
right, so yeah, I hope so. I'm letting them twist me in all these different ways. I hope they know what they're doing. So option one is obviously get up and move. Option two is if you can't move, you kind of do some of these stretches. Nowadays, I'm seeing these things where I've seen people that have either the pedals underneath their desk where they're almost like riding a bike as they're sitting.
they?
And
Yeah.
then now you've seen, which I've never seen actually anyone use these directly, but I've seen them in like videos and on TV where people have like these treadmill desks
Oh
where they're
yeah.
actually working on a treadmill.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, I really like those. If you can get those, those are great. Or a standing desk. I mean, those are obviously extreme options, but another important thing is just making sure that your desk is set up right so that you're not straining. So
right,
ideally, you can see from the way I'm sat that I'm not doing this, but
right,
ideally your screen should be at eye level, so you should look straight forward and see where you're
correct, instead
working.
of down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything should be like your chair should be set up right so your feet are flat on the floor. You're not having to like strain to reach everything. Everything should just be comfortable. You can get little supports and stuff. You can get if your chair's not very supportive, you can get like a lumbar support, or you
right,
can get like a wrist rest. Sorry, that's hard to say, isn't it?
right,
But to
right.
arms on when you're tapping, that kind of thing. They all really help.
Now, those standing desks, is it
Hmm.
obviously sitting all day isn't great for you, but at
Hmm.
the same point in time, is standing all day good for you?
No, so ideally you want to be changing position. So that's why the sit stand desks are really good. So you
Right,
change every like half an hour. But the standing ones are generally good just because you don't tend to stand dead still. Well, I don't anyway. Because I've got one of the up down ones. When I put it on stand, I tend to like move a lot more. I tend to like,
Right.
or feel that's a stretch. So they're good for just keeping your body. Or sorry, the other option is, you've seen some people sit on their like exercise balls. I don't
Yeah,
know if you've
I've
ever
seen
seen that.
those.
That's quite a good idea, just because it keeps your core sort of engaged, and you naturally tend to sort of move and bounce around a little bit. So it's just keeping those joints and those muscles moving throughout the day, which is so much better than just being still.
Yeah, but I don't think for a second I could sit on one of those, and I'm not trying to be funny and not fall off it. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe that's for like more advanced.
yeah, that's someone for like one of those elite athletes like you. So
Oh,
yeah, so
maybe.
yeah, I don't think I could do that. But the other things I think make a lot of sense. So if you work with someone,
Mhm.
so how are you working with someone? Because obviously now you're in this business, so you just gave me some great tips for me to do on my own. But now you've decided to start a business, which is relatively in a new phase. This is
It
new.
is, yeah.
This is a new business. So what kind of client are you looking for? And then how does a client retain you? And then what do you do with that client?
Yeah, so it's for people that are quite new to this. So I guess people in your sort of situation that sit around all day, get sort of aches and pains. Um, People often feel like lethargic as well, just from being around all day.
Hmm.
So I'm not looking for like elite athletes like in my past, or anyone that already does loads. It's people that are just wanting to start out. So what I do, my program is based on making it very manageable. So I don't give like sort of you have to be in the gym for 2 hours every day to make this work.
Correct.
I just literally do. It's like between 2 and 4 20-minute workouts every week,
Mhm.
which I think everyone can fit in, right? Like it's 20 minutes. You
Sure.
can either do that on your lunch break, you can do it just while your dinner's cooking. So yeah, that's my whole idea, to just make it really, really easy and manageable and achievable for busy people. So it's not kind of overwhelming and too
Mhm.
much. And basically, I help them with a combination of mobility and resistance training. So I think the two work really well together. So I think if you just do one or the other, you can get bored, and also end up with either just like strong muscles that are tight or like weak, flexible ones. You want a bit of both, really. So yeah, a couple of resistance sessions a week just to get like that strength and feeling more well and alive. And then yeah, a couple of mobility sessions a week to get moving, get rid of those aches and pains, that kind of thing. Um, and yeah, it works really well for beginners.
So when they're doing these training sessions with you, are you like coaching them during the sessions, or are you just providing them with the sessions on what to do?
So for the resistance training sessions, we do like one group session at the start of the month where we go through it all together, make sure
Mhm.
everyone knows what they're doing, that kind of thing. And then for the other ones, they just do it in their own time. I've send out the program and they kind of follow that whenever they want, because that's a lot easier for people than scheduling a session.
Sure.
The mobility sessions are done live twice a week, but they are recorded as well. So again, if busy people can't make the times I've scheduled them for, they can watch the recording and do it at their own time.
Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, because I know oftentimes I'll set a time for myself that you wake up, I want to work out at this time, and ideally that never happens. So having the
Yeah.
flexibility, kind of do it when you want to do it, is excellent. So how are you going about finding your clients? Is it mostly, word of mouth? Are you, promoting yourself? As a new business owner, what is your plan to help you grow your business?
That is my bit that I'm a complete novice in, to be honest.
Hmm.
So I'm trying different things. I'm using like social media. So I find
Hmm.
like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are really good for like promoting, um, giving out free advice, that kind of thing. Building my email list. I've just actually done a free 1 week, what's the word for it? Like a workshop.
Yep.
So I help people to basically start their journey. So find an introduction to mobility, an introduction to resistance training, and just moving more. And a load of people, just even in those 5 days, were like, "Oh wow, I feel a bit different now, just from moving sort of every day, just even
Yeah.
a little bit for 5 days, making little changes to their work setup, that kind of thing." So yeah, I find free challenges are really good just to get people started. and
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people have the idea that they can't fit it in. They're really busy. They don't have time for exercise. But I like these little challenges to help them realize that they do actually have the time. And, with my way of making it really manageable and easy, they can. And then, yeah, hopefully a lot of them progress on to being clients.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's been times, and I'm embarrassed to say, my kids will laugh at me because of this thing and me being competitive. It's kind of like, to me, having some level of competition, whether it's with someone else or even with yourself. Like, I
Hmm.
know I don't want to not get my 30 workout minutes in a day. Now, sometimes the
Yeah,
workout minute is like going out like this morning on a run. But sometimes I can't do that, either the weather or I'm not really in a position, to do that. So there'll be
of
times that
course.
I'll just get home. It'll be 9:30 at night. I'm just spending some time with the family. I don't want to not spend time with them. So literally, I'll be watching TV with them, and I'll be standing up, and I'll be doing like a 10-minute like shadow boxing
Mhm.
class, or I'll just even like jog in
Why
place
not?
for
That's
20 minutes.
great.
So they think it's ridiculous. They're watching
Hmm.
TV and they'll video me and like send out to their friends, like, look what he's doing, kind of thing. But like literally, they'll all be sitting and I'm just jogging in place, or I'm hooking and and doing that. But you're right. If you want to get 20 movement minutes in a day or something, you
Hmm.
can do it.
Yeah,
It's just a
anyone
matter
can.
of determining that you want to do it. No one's working 24 hours a day.
Well,
So if you can
hopefully
either
not.
you can wake up 20 minutes early, you can take part of your lunch break, and even like you said, it's not even doing 20 minutes at a time. It's even better to do 2 minutes every 2 hours, and that at least
Yeah,
if you do that throughout the course of a day, you're going to end up with a lot of time.
exactly. Yeah, very well explained. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's good. If you're that's I think one of the best lessons that you're going to teach people is there isn't like a one way fits all kind of thing, and whatever works for you in your schedule. We all have different family things, work responsibilities, family responsibilities, and I think just squeezing it in any way you can, you're
Hmm.
better off doing something than if you do nothing.
That's
You know.
exactly the
So when
message.
you
Just
said you
do something.
combined
Yeah.
resistance with it, yeah, right,
Yeah.
to get out and move, whatever it is, yeah. So even if you're not a speed walker, getting out, even walking slow, at least your legs are moving, your arms are pumping a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's I take classes. Some of the times when I work out, I go to a class, and they make some good points, and I'm not one of those people who really into like motivational speakers, that kind of thing per se, but some of the things they say are so simple but they make so much sense. Like, if I'm out there walking, I'm doing more right now than probably 99% of the world in terms of exercise at that moment.
Probably. Yeah.
A lot a lot of people are now sitting there watching TV when I'm out walking. Even, I'm not saying I'm doing a high intensity even sprint. If I'm just walking, my
Hmm.
body's doing more.
Yeah. So never put yourself down if you feel like you can't do a really
Right.
high intensity workout, or if you're having to. In my programs, I give options to make it
Yeah.
harder or reduce it. If you're having to reduce it all the time, there's no shame in that at all. You're doing so much better than doing nothing. And yeah, that's a
Right.
really good point there.
That's exactly it. Whatever you're doing is better than doing nothing.
100%.
Yeah. And I think that's important. And the other thing that someone said once, and it is so true for me, is the hardest part of working out is starting.
Yes, it's
And I
yeah,
don't
so
even mean
true.
starting, and I don't even mean starting like I'm gonna start working out the rest of my life. I'm saying just today.
On a daily
Because
basis, yeah.
if I'm gonna work out in the morning, the hardest part is not staying in bed for 20 more minutes and getting up, putting on the sneakers, and getting outside. Once I start, I'm fine. It's getting myself to start. And like yesterday, for
Yeah.
example, I couldn't work out in the morning. I had traffic, and then I had to get home. I did dinner, and it was 8 o'clock, and I hadn't worked out yet, and I was tired.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I didn't want to do
Yeah.
it. And I'll be honest with you, if I didn't have this anal thing in my head where I'm not letting the streak end, I wouldn't have done it. So it was hard at 8 o'clock last night to change out of my work clothes, put on workout clothes, and go outside and run. But I did it because I wanted to. But
Mhm.
once I got out there, it wasn't hard. It was getting my mind to say, okay, go upstairs, get your sneakers on and go. That was the hard part.
It is, isn't it? And the way your body works, obviously when you exercise, you release all kind of those good hormones into your brain. So you do naturally feel really good after you finish exercise. And the best thing about it, it sort of works in a vicious cycle. Like if you don't do anything, and I've seen this with people I work with in offices, if you don't do anything, that you're actually less likely to want to do something because you then feel tired and lethargic from doing nothing. Whereas if you
Right.
just get into that cycle and start moving, you then want
Mhm.
to move more because you feel good in yourself, your muscles feel good, you've got more energy. So once you
Yeah.
kind of get the ball rolling, it's much easier to keep going.
And I always thought when they say you work out in the morning, you feel better about yourself, that it was psychological. But it's not even just psychological.
No,
As
it's
you
both.
said,
Yeah.
there's scientific proof that your body is going to respond better to the day. And I think that was also the problem, at least with COVID, when I was working at home during the busier times of year when I didn't work out in the morning. At least when I had to go to work, I had to get up. I had to get dressed. I had to go downstairs. I had to get in my car. I had to walk into my office. I had to go whatever. During COVID, if I wasn't working out in the morning, I literally got out of bed, walked to my office, which is my home office, which is like in the corner of my bedroom. I had to
Oh
walk
dear.
6 feet, and I got out of bed, plopped myself down. Now I'm sitting for the next 3 hours. So
Yeah, it's
you're
not
right,
good, is
nothing
it?
got your body moving. Nothing really got, and you're right into the work. And you're right, you felt until you
Yeah, I
got
bet you
moving.
didn't feel great. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Until you get moving. So I wish you the best of luck with this business. How can people follow you? You mentioned that you use social media as a means of, networking and so forth. So kind of tell us all your platforms on social media.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm on Instagram as Pocket PT UK and TikTok. The main place to find me is actually on Facebook. I've set up it's a free group. It's called Active Thriving Professionals, and it's a group where we can all share our questions about moving, achievements, support each other. I share stuff on there as well, like tips and advice. I go live and do some mobility workouts sometimes. So yeah, definitely join that, and that's where you can sort of be part of the community, see everything I'm doing, and yeah, get some free advice. So yeah, it's called Active Thriving Professionals, and it's a group on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, so I really appreciate your time doing this. I know it's, right in the middle of your workday over there doing this now. So I appreciate you stopping whatever you're doing to do this. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you continued
Yes, been fun.
success, with the business. And I definitely learned some new things today. So I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you have a question related to this episode or have a request for what you would like to hear, please email us at marketing@adeptuscpas.com. You can also find us at adeptuscpas.com online or follow us at Adeptus on social media. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.